Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome to Hands on SAP Dev with Q Macro. That's me, DJ, and my chair is a little bit low down. I don't know what's going on. There we go, that's better. Good morning again. Yes, so it's Friday. It's very rainy. Well, it's stopped raining right now and cold outside. That's why I got this SAP Developer Advocates top on. Keep me warm. Got a fresh batch of coffee here. And I'm looking forward to spending the next 60 minutes with you. Yeah, it's Friday, and good morning, Tim. Good morning, Jodelle. Robertino, good morning. Mahesh. Hello, good morning. Good day to you, Mahesh. Great to have you on board. Yeah, Friday, and I've got a long weekend ahead, so I'm feeling in a semi-holiday mood today. It's got a little mixed bag of things I want to cover, getting back into the Hands-on SAP Dev API, but we'll come to that shortly. Yes, you are back after a long time, Mahesh. Welcome, it's nice to have you back. I think, in fact, the last time I suppose we saw something from you was during the SAP Community Coding Challenge, wasn't it? That was awesome, by the way. Loads of great entries. In fact, I'm hoping to cover something relating to that, a little bit of JavaScript today. Let's see where we get to though. So I've got my coffee, I've got my piece of chocolate, almost become tradition now. I was going to have one of those amaretti biscuits again and see if that inspired some more Italian typing like a few episodes ago, but we'll see. Rahul, good morning. Good morning to you. It's great to have you on board. So yeah, I'm feeling quite in control, apart from the fact that about 15 minutes ago, my MacBook crashed when I started Streamlabs OBS. It's like, but it's working now, and I've got my Stream Deck. I finally decided to go for a Stream Deck, which is really useful. Actually, it's a lot more useful than I thought it would be. I've got all my scenes on different buttons here. I don't know whether you can see. I don't know if I can show you or not. I'll just move the camera. There. 1 second. Where are we going here? I don't know whether you can see it. There is the Stream Deck, and that was the standby scene a minute ago. And now we're on the intro scene, and then I can switch to the main scene with either my head at the top or head at the bottom, and then the end scene. So that and you can have different sort of profiles, different collections of buttons. Yeah, really good. I think Ronnie has been using a Stream Deck for a while when he was sort of controlling the SAP online track. Anyway, quick sip of coffee. Yeah, what news have we got? What did I want to show you? Let me just switch to the main scene, and I published a blog post. This blog post, in fact, yesterday. Yesterday, it's July the 3rd today, isn't it? Yesterday. By the way, I'm also trying not to be as hectic. I don't know whether that will last, given the coffee and the chocolate I'm about to consume. Robertino, is that much better than the Streamlabs app on your phone? Yes, it is. I don't know why, but I found that the way that the icons for the buttons on the phone were organized and the way they looked, you couldn't tell. I couldn't easily glance down because obviously you've only got a split second to look and do something while you're live streaming. I was finding that when I was glancing down, it's like, whoa, what are those buttons again? Which one's pressed? Which one's not pressed? Whereas here, it's a lot clearer. The distinction between the pressed and unpressed state in terms of color, and you can configure that as well, but even the default is really good. And I've also got, as you can see on my screen, in fact, on the top right of my screen, normally I would have, of course, this bar here, the whatever it is, the macOS bar, but I don't like that showing because I'm running this nice little window manager. Main. What's going on with the? Am I standby intro? Have I messed up now? No, okay, I think we're good. I think we're good. I think I might have messed up my buttons on my Stream Deck, but let me switch to the bottom anyway. No, okay, yes, I get it, I get it, I get it. Okay, sorry, I was just slightly panicking there. But basically, I can't remember what I was going to say now. Oh yes, so I've got a little clock as well on the Stream Deck. I know it's, very expensive clock, but it's very useful. I got my clock on my watch as well, but it's, just glancing down at the buttons. So yeah, basically, in answer to your question, Robert, it is really good and much better than the phone-based app. Anyway, I published this blog post yesterday, and oh yeah, what I was saying was, I'm determined to go a little bit slower and sort of enjoy the conversation a little bit more and pay more attention to the conversation. So it's a little bit of an experiment. And I want to maybe get your input as well while we're doing this stuff today. Even more of an input, also maybe code together. So I think probably most of you know that there's been a migration. The SAP NPM modules have traditionally been over at https npm.sap.com, which is that thing that's like a little bit weird because it has no UI. So it's just, a headless registry almost, right? I don't know whether you also noticed that, like I did, slightly cringeworthy. There's a bit of a spelling mistake there as well. But anyway, that is now being retired. It's deprecated, let's use that word. And instead, we can now enjoy access to SAP scoped NPM packages, node packages, at the main default public registry, npmjs.org. And in fact, if we go there and have a quick look, of course, npmjs.org redirects to npmjs.com, it's the same thing. And we can search for SAP scoped packages, which is pretty cool, right? So 285 packages found. Let's just do a search for CDSDK, our favorite package. There we go, SAP CDSDK, and it is at 1.8.5, published 22 days ago. Now, does that tie in npm info SAP CDSDK? Does that tie in with that there? What can we get? What can we get and see there? We can see that, 1.8.5. That's cool. Published 3 weeks ago. I guess that's sort of a rounded up thing. 22 days is sort of 3 weeks, I guess. Yeah. And the most important thing to notice here is that the tarball is available where? At a URL where the fully qualified domain name, the FQDN, is registered at npmjs.org. Okay, so that's the biggest clue for me that this is pointing to the right place. So that's pretty cool, I think. Oh, good morning, Pierre. Good morning, Ronnie. I've just mentioned your name. I've now got a Stream Deck, Elgato Stream Deck. I know that also Craig Schmehill from the SAP community, he's been trying to persuade me to get one for ages. Very happy with it. So yeah, really, really important blog post. So if you haven't read that, just have a quick check out of that blog post. Basically, the thing you've got to do is just remove the SAP registry entry in your config. So now npm config ls. Now I used to have at SAP registry equals https npm.sap.com. That's now gone. Okay, and that blog post describes a lot. In fact, I've just noticed a very nice comment from Christian Kobowski. For those having SAP registry configured in the global npm config, use command npm config delete -g. Okay, so -g or -- global will also, is also relevant in other npm invocations. And so, yeah, Christian had it in his global config. So that's really good. Javier, good morning. Oh, biscuit and coffee. Well done. Yes, good logos. Good logos, emojis. I just noticed as well, looking at the chat, chocolate. Jodel, you didn't know that there was a midweek episode. So, There hasn't traditionally, to be fair, been a regular midweek episode until recently. Last year when I was doing it, I was doing the occasional midweek one. But there is now. I'm not sure how long it's going to last, but there is. The general idea is that I'm going to always continue this live stream slot, the Friday morning at 8 a.m. UK time slot, this one that we're on now. That will be weekly. But I'm also now trying to maintain another regular schedule of a fortnightly, every 2 weeks episode slot. That's on the Wednesday, midweek, as you point out, Jodelle. And it's all Wednesday afternoon, my time, 2 p.m. UK time, 3 p.m. Europe time, etc., etc., etc. And that also allows folks in the US to sort of, join an episode or two. So that's that. And the general idea is that we'll use the Friday episodes for what we always do, which is like, I was going to say the hardcore, not the hardcore, the sort of the main core of stuff. And we'll use the Wednesday ones, the fortnightly Wednesday ones, for sort of slightly more off the wall, off-piste, random things, plus guest appearances. I've had a number of amazing guests. I think who was our very first guest? Our very first guest was Christian Georgi from the CAP team, wasn't it? Way back when, over a year ago now. And I've had Max, I've had Marius on, I've had Vitali on, I've had, of course, Ronnie on, and Nabhit, and Gregor, and Hendrik. Who else have I had on? Anyway, I've been talking to people internally at SAP, and I've managed to persuade a number of awesome people to come and be guests over the next few weeks and months. So I've got Ivona Hahn. So some of you may know Ivona, may have met Ivona, super awesome person who was working with us developer advocates on the in the app space at TechEd, certainly in Barcelona. I can't remember whether she was in Las Vegas as well or Bangalore. But anyway, if you were in Barcelona, you would have met Ivona. Super awesome person. And she is responsible for a lot of the cool stuff that appears here in the documentation section. And all the release notes, for example, and all that new stuff, all the what's new, Ivona and some colleagues are behind that. So I'm going to get Ivona to come on and talk to us a little bit more about that and what happens behind the scenes, and new stuff that we might not be aware of. So that's really cool. So that's that. Also, we had like a 4-part mini-series, didn't we, on consuming remote services in CAP. That was inspired by this CAP course, Building Applications with SAP Cloud Application Programming Model, CP7 I refer to. There's Cecilia, great. And there's Christian, in fact. And we're going to have a couple of awesome folks from there as well. So you may already know David, because he presented at Recap. And David did some of the modules in this course in week 4. I think he might have done modules in other weeks as well. David's going to come on and talk to us about some cool CAP stuff, as is also Elena. Elena is going to talk to us. Elena covered some really interesting stuff right at the end of week 4. If we have a look here, we've got the week 4 accessing native SAP HANA tables and views. So that's the module, the unit that Elena did, and she's going to come on and talk to us a little bit more about diving a little bit deeper into that. So we got Elena as well, and finally, you know, in the list of victims I've managed to persuade to come on, I've got the one and only Mr. Ralph Handel, who is now working on the SAP Graph team, which is really cool. So we'll maybe get some insights on SAP Graph, maybe a bit of a demo if we can persuade him. But of course, many of you will know Ralph as one of the names right at the top of the OData specs. Ralph was chair of the OData Oasis committee for OData, is super heavily involved in OData in general, and also, of course, all the vocabularies that we know and love, and are sort of, you know, skirted around and into a little bit in these Hands on SAP Dev episodes. So we've got Ralph as well coming on. So that's that. So, oh, Ronnie, cool. I've discovered that the coolest usage of the Stream Deck is outside OBS. I've set up shortcuts, applications, and hotkeys for operations. Works great. Exactly. Yeah, I'm sort of getting a feel for the fact that this can do a lot more than just, you know, control one particular app. So yeah, definitely really good. Okay, so let's get started. I set the nominal title for this episode to be, I can't remember what the title was actually, continuing or something to do with our Hands on SAP Dev API. We had a couple of sessions way back when, around episode 53 and 54. In fact, episode 53 and 54. Episodes, there are the episodes. Now, where are we? There we go. It's here. I saw them somewhere. Oh, there we go. Yes. So we started to construct an API, and we continued on with that, looking at you know, what the data structure might be. So I wanted to pick up where we left off. It's a long time ago. It was back in February. And I wanted to sort of look at the data here as well, and start playing around with this data a little bit too. So let's get going. Where are we with the and the folders make the possibilities? Yes, exactly, the folders. Yeah, definitely. Probably more potential than I can ever imagine to use. So what I did on the project here, as I sort of, you know, I deleted it for some strange reason, or I put it on the on GitHub. So I brought it back from GitHub. Is it on GitHub? Yeah, I think it is on GitHub, isn't it? GitHub.com qmacro hands on SAP. Oh, it was HOSD, wasn't it? HOSD. That's it. HOSD. That's it. I think we started there. Oh no, the HOSD was the Hands on SAP Dev, and we had this package there. There was the index. That's right. Okay. And I had deleted for some reason the cat project with episodes and topics. So what I did earlier this morning was just set that up again very briefly. So let's just go into local projects, Hands on SAP Dev, and there we go. We've got now the service.cds. Okay, so that's what we had back in February with a single service, and we ended up with 3 entities, and we'd also, those 3 entities there were defined as episodes, episode topics, and topics. And we'd done this episodes topics entity as a conjunction entity. Let's have a dig into that. So down here on line 7, we've got a managed association, a one-to-many association, where an episode can have, well, basically, in fact, before we start looking at the schema, why don't I go into Google Chrome? I'll actually create a new spreadsheet, and I'll pour this in, because then we can work on this together, right? So if I create a sheet, blank sheet, Hands on SAP Dev, and I'll just grab that and stick that in there. Okay, there's the title, the description. Okay, let's put the description like that. Okay, that looks good. Fine. Sheet 1. That's fine. That's fine. So now if I share this, get link, change to anyone with the link. How do I add people? Get link, editors. What? How do I? Anyone with the link. Oh, I see. Anyone with the link can edit. So there we are. Let me do that for now. So share, get link. Yeah, there we go. Got it. Yes, fine. Copy link. I'll put that in there for now. So you can have a look at that as well. And then we'll, we'll just have that for the purpose of this stream episode. So we've got, and this is what I've been maintaining, we've got all the episodes in it, all the way down to today, which is this one. We've got the ID of the episode number, we've got the date, oh hello, and we've got the title, the description, whether there was a guest, what the URL for the recording, or the live stream as it were, is, and then we've got these tags. So I've been maintaining tags, so you can have a look around as well. I've been maintaining tags, and I decided that, you know, I would allow myself a maximum of 6 primary tags. I did actually have in here, it's like a, you know, a lookup table as well. Let's just grab that too and stick that in there. Let's have a sheet called primary, rename primary, stick those in there. Don't know why that's formatted like that, but anyway. And what I was doing was using the, it's like a conditional thing, isn't it? Data validation thing. Data validation was data validation sheet, list from a range, show drop down list in a cell, list from a range. That was what I was doing there. But we'll leave the validation for now because we're not interested in cleaning it up right now. What we're interested in is, oh hello, yes, anonymous unicorn. All the best unicorns are anonymous, aren't they? Okay, so what we really want to do is generate some conjunction data so that we can start feeding our data, our CAP application here. So we've got the episodes. Well, that's interesting. Michelle's just closed the door because she's going to be busy in the kitchen. And it's the sound in here is different. So let me know if the sound is different, if it's better, if it's worse. So we've got the episodes entity, and I've expanded that to have a title, a date, and a description. There are other fields in there as well. We may have to modify this. And we've got the topics, and one episode can have multiple topics, and of course one topic can have multiple episodes, and that's why we have this many-to-many relationship, which is not directly doable with CDS per se, but of course we use, as we saw in episode 54, a conjunction table. So I'll put together a playlist of the episodes 53, 54, and this one, so you can have a quick look if you want to. And the general idea is that there's a one-to-many association from topics in episodes to the episode topics entity, and also a one-to-many from the episodes navigation property in topics to there as well. Okay, thanks Pierre, thanks for confirming. And then of course going back out, as it were, it's almost like when you see these pictures of magnets and magnetic fields, it just feels like it's that, right? So we got the episode going from, one episode has an association to that episode, so it's a one-to-one, of course, and the topic is a one-to-one there. It's quite a beautiful sort of picture that it generates in our minds, isn't it? So in order to, and what we'd found in episode 54, in order to fill these tables, let's actually see what we need. In order to fill the tables, I don't know what's going on there. Swap file, let's just get rid of that. We've got these episodes. So we got episode 0 with the date and the title and the description. And notice as well, quite nicely. The export from the Google Sheet sort of doubles up the double quotes because it's put it inside quotes, which is quite nice. So it's properly escaped, and that's what we need for the episodes. What we need for the topics is literally a list of topics, and I was just making up some topics here, what we had last time: Node.js, banana, CDS, cap, and so on. And then the episodes topics is this sort of flattened list, okay, of episode 1 has topic Node.js, episode 1 has topic CDS, episode 1 has topic cap, episode 2 has topic bananas, okay? So in fact, if we have a look at that, let's just let's bring ourselves into the of course, hold on. There it is. There, I thought I had a TMUX session going. I wasn't sure what was going on there. If we now let's just do it here. Local projects, HandsOnSAPDev, CDS watch. Okay, so let's go back here. And we've got episodes, we've got topics, and we've got these episodes topics, which means that we can say episodes and then $expand topics. Okay, so episode 0, episode 0 has no topics, episode 1 has topics, cap, CDS, and Node.js. Okay. Strange noise outside. I've also been distracted by the fact that the bit rate. I've got a bit rate warning here, but I think we're okay. Okay. So expand topics. That's fine. So we need effectively. You can see here, for example, topics expand equals episodes. Episodes. So we can see that bananas. Episodes, topic name, episode 2, topic name, and etc. etc. Okay, so what we need to do is generate a combination file for episodes topics from the data in the spreadsheet, and I think we'll do that because I've been trying to sort of not avoid talking about that because I thought it's not really SAP specific, but at the end of the day, we're trying to build an API and we need some data, and we need to sort of, embrace manipulating a little bit of data. It might have been the monkeys, yes. There's lots of bananas in these episodes, isn't there, Ronnie? Yes, definitely. Better watch out for the monkeys. By the way, has anybody joined Jerry Jander's, SAP Community Jerry Jander's film club? I think they're talking about maybe watching 12 Monkeys next, which is an awesome Terry Gilliam film. Sort of semi-relevant for what's going on right now as well. They are known for making strange sounds. Yes, they are. They are indeed. So let me stop rambling and see if we can do something to generate something that looks like that. Bearing in mind that what we've got here in terms of the source data, we've got the primary tags here in lists, so up to 6 primary tags, and then I use this here just to filter, to join these things together. So we'll use that. So what we want to do is generate. In fact, if I just there we go. Yeah, make that a little bit shorter. What I want to do is generate a sheet, an output sheet that we can export as CSV, where we have 0, JavaScript, 1, Cloud Platform, 1, cap, 1, CF, 1, tooling, 2, Cloud Platform, 2, cap, and so on. Because that's exactly the structure that we need for this conjunction table data. Has anybody done any of this before in terms of generating? The CSV population mechanism of the cap the cat philosophy. I think it's awesome, but of course it means that if you're maintaining some data that you want to use, you might have to do some manipulation. So let's try that. Let's go for a bit of JavaScript. And the exciting thing is, I'm sort of making this up as I go along. The exciting thing is that the Google Apps script that's available to us is now the platform upon which it runs is now powered by Chrome V8. I don't know what it was before. Was it Rhino or Spider Monkey? I can't remember. But basically, up until recently, maybe a couple of months ago, 6 months ago, I don't know, you could only write ES5, ECMAScript 5 flavored JavaScript, which was for us, expanding our horizons a little bit restrictive. So now we can write ES6, we can use fat arrow syntax, we can use const, we can use let, and it makes it a lot more pleasant to write JavaScript in this environment. So let's do that. Let's just untitled project hands on SAP dev. I'm assuming here that you've also, with that link, you've also got access to this. Share. Oh, hands on SAP dev. Oh, the selected file cannot be shared. Oh well, let's just carry on with this for now. Okay. So why don't we say, what do we want to do? We want to, let's get rid of that's confusing me there. That's confusing me. There we go. Why don't we say here, let's go through, okay, let's grab the sheet first of all. And in fact, let's just split this off so we can see what's going on. We've got the ID, title, dates. Let's have that there. Let's hide that one and that one. Hide columns. Let's hide that one as well. So we've got the tags. Okay, so we got an idea of the sort of data that we want to mess around with. Let's start out with a few constants. Let's grab the active spreadsheet first. Const spreadsheet equals spreadsheet app dot get active spreadsheet. And because I can, I'm going to not use semicolons. We want the source data, don't we? Const source equals spreadsheet got get sheet by name. I really like the way that, if something's deprecated, is like a strike through. I'm not, by the way, apart from a couple of things last week, I haven't used AppScript for ages. So my memory of the spreadsheet app API might be a little bit rusty, but we'll find out together. Has anybody in the chat, let me know, has anybody used Google Apps Script in anger or use it at all? I personally in the past have found it super useful just for manipulating data, for maintaining data, all sorts of different things. And just like many of the coding environments that are sort of online REPLs, this is also a super useful online REPL. Get sheet by name, and that name is sheet 1, right? We've got our source, and why don't we create a target sheet as well? Let's call it, where's the rename there? Episodes, topics, so we can see what we do. And what we want to end up with in there is like, 1 cap, 1 CDS, 1 debugging, 2 bananas, 2 OData, and so on, right? We want to end up with that. So let's have here const target equals ss dot get sheet by name, episodes, topics. There we go. Good morning, John. Good morning, John. Nice to see you. And also, what a wonderful answer. You've used it only when you were working with me in Bluefin. I don't know whether that's like a you know, a good answer or a bad answer. I mean, it's a good answer. Whether that says something good about me or bad about me, I don't know. Oh, anyway, neutral. I think it's super useful. So let's go back here. What do we want to do? We want to say, let's just grab the data. So let's say const data equals source.get data range. Get data range. Data range. I think get data range is quite new, and I'm only guessing what it does. But let's just here have let's have a main function. Const main equals, and we're not gonna let's do the sort of the cool Python-esque thing, or you know, functional thing of saying, well, we need to specify a parameter name, but we're not interested in the parameter, so let's put underscore. I mean, I could do that, right? As in no parameters. Yeah, let's do that. You know, I don't know what your style preference is, but anyway, let's just have that const data equals source.getData, and then this is what else you may know. You can log things out. So let's save that and run it. Oh, authorization required, of course. Review permissions. Yes, yes, yes. Continue. Not verify. That's fine. Allow. There we go. Okay, cool. Okay, so so I'm just thinking. No, that's fine. That's fine. That's fine. Yeah, let me just, for now, we can edit that spreadsheet. Let's just, what I'll do is I'll just change that. I'm just suddenly thinking, oh my God, you know, am I giving people on the interwebs generally permission to get all my data? So let's just modify that slightly. So let's run that. Did I run it already? Anyway, and then we can see what's in the logger. Waiting for logs. Yeah, last time I used this, it took a while to come up with the log output. Waiting for logs. Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. Range. Okay, so it's a range. It's a capital R, which means it's like this object thing. I'm deliberately not going to say the word class or class. So we've got a range. So we can say data.get values, right? So let's run that and see what we get. I'm assuming we're going to get all this data to manipulate. Just look at the log. There we go. Logging output allowed. Fine. But what we get is an array of arrays. We get this outer array, and the outer array then ends there. Oh, wait a minute. Ends. Where is it? Primary, secondary text. ID, date, title. Da, 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 da. Oh yes, sorry. The outer array ends right there. So it's an array of arrays. So there is one array, just there, which is of course the header line. Here is an array, which ends there, and so on. So we get an array for each of the rows. So it's like a two-dimensional array. Okay, so it's definitely not a bad thing. Thank you, John. It's far better than Excel. Well, most things are far better than Excel. I've just never had a need for it since then. Yes. I mean, I just, when I'm thinking of storing stuff and, manipulating stuff and, having a scratch pad of data, the first thing I think of is Google Sheets, because it's awesome because of the fact that you have this app script to manipulate it. So what we want to do is so we've got access to that now. So what we also want to do, I guess, let's just go back here and go to the episode's topics. What we also want to do is write something eventually into here. So that's fine. So what we need to do is, let's say here, const data equals get values. Okay, so we'll have that in the data. Fine. So we know the values is the data is an array of array. And we can say now, let's create a function to take a row, which is, let's say this row here, we'll take the ID and we'll take the primary tags and we'll create something out of that. Okay. And what I think we'll end up doing, I have a funny feeling we may end up looking at a new JavaScript function together, functional function. But let's see, if we say, what we'll need as well, I guess, const cols equals, so we can work out what column index each one is. So we've got the ID, date, title, description, primary tags. That'll do for now. There's other columns in there, but we only need those, right? And if we say, well, let's have a function, let's create a function, col ID. Should we camel case them? Okay, John. Yeah, so John asks, do you feel that now that CAP is around, you will find yourself using this less, as it's extremely easy to make a fully functioning service? Absolutely. So yes, I remember now what John and I did at Bluefin. We were using Google Apps Script and data in spreadsheets to be a backend API, a REST API, because of course you can also write app script to respond to incoming HTTP requests. You can create services, I'm not sure exactly where it is, publish, deploy as web app, okay? And we were using that because it was so difficult, relatively speaking, to create an OData service outside of the ABAP environment, okay? We were doing this outside of the ABAP environment. CAP has come along and just made that so simple. So absolutely, John. Now that CAP's around, I've not used AppScript at all to generate backend services on the fly. I've used CAP. What I do think is this is useful for is for manipulating data to feed in, initially to that. That's what we're doing here. Yeah, so happy memories. So what we want is, let's get the ID. So we'll take a column. It's a function that takes a column name and produces cols.index of. Oh, I like the command completion for the JavaScript language itself. Index of name. Okay, that's fine. So why don't we say logger.log? In fact, let's create a test function. Let's do it a different style. See which style you like, right? That style or the previous style with on line 7. Logger.log call ID of primary tags. Let's save that, and now that function should be in there as well. Call ID main. We want test, don't we? Test. Let's run that with Command R, Control R in Windows. Logger.log. Waiting for logs. Call ID should be like 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, wait a minute. It's not 4 because I've just. Oh, it is 4. Yeah, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. But it's not 4. H is not 4, is it? H. I've hidden some fields here. D, E, F, G, H. 5, 6, 7, 8. So it's 8. So in between here, what have we got? We've got guests, recording, and blog post. Okay. Okay, but at least we're doing the right thing here, right? So, come on, what's going on? Full screen. Okay, there we go. So we want guests. What was it? Guest. What am I doing? Come on, DJ, what are you doing? There it is there. Guest. What was it? God, I've got memory of a goldfish. Guest, recording, and blog post. Okay. Guest, recording, blog post. Right, okay, so that's fine. So now what we want is, let's just do this, constant data. Well, let's try outputting data dot map. It's going to be rows, isn't it? So row, let's put out row of call ID, what's it called? ID, right? So whatever the ID column is, and with we'll also have the primary tags, row call ID primary tags. Let's run that, save that, and try that. Main. That was quick. Waiting for logs. Come on. Any time today? There we go. Ah, right. Okay. So we got. Oh, of course we got the header line as well, of course. But we got now 0. These are expressed in 0.0. I have no idea why, but anyway, always has been. 0 is JavaScript. 1 is Cloud Platform, cap, CF, tooling. 2 is Cloud Platform, cap. So now we're getting to the data that we want to manipulate. So why don't we now say, let's just create a function to take one of those entries, well, this one here, for example, and generate a list of arrays where it's 1, Cloud Platform, 1, cap, 1, CF, 1, tooling. Okay, let's do that. So it's const generate pairs, given, well, let's just give it the row. Given the row, what we want is, we want the, let's do it sort of explicit first of all, right? Let's pull these things out. So const ID equals row call ID first of all, and const topics equals row call ID primary tags. Okay, primary tags or primary topics? Doesn't really matter. It's primary topics, isn't it? Oh, tags. Okay. Oh well, primary tags. Naming things. Very hard. There we go. Okay, fine. What we want to do is return, we want to split those topics. Topics.split on commas. But then we want to take each individual one, like cap, comma, banana, comma, whatever, and we want to produce a pair where it's ID and topic. Right? That's what we want to do. Gen pairs. Okay, so let's try that. Let's try, yeah, okay, so gen pairs data. Let's go for that row 2, which is that row, that's row 0, row 1, row 2, because that's got like more than one tag, topic. And see what that will give us. Come on. Why is this so slow, this logs thing? Oh, there we go. So we've got what we want. We've got 1, Cloud Platform, 1, cap, 1, CF, 1, tooling. Now, if we do that for each one, let's just tell you what we'll do. Just for the sake of ease, we'll duplicate this sheet, copy of sheet, and in this sheet here, we'll just delete everything from there downwards, right? Let's go down to the end. So we're not looking at millions of bits of data. So all we've got now, I don't know what these formatting things are. Anyway, all we've got now is our 3 entries, one with 1 tag, one with 4 tags, and one with 2. So we should, we shouldn't get overwhelmed by things. Are you all still with me, by the way? Is this? Are we in the right direction? I think we are. So now we could say logger.log. Get rid of that one. Data.map. Get gen pairs, right? Oh, did run that. Yes. Okay, so we've got an array of arrays of arrays, right? So we've got 3 opening square brackets. In sort of the lowest level, we've got ID primary tags. We've got here that one, that one, that one. There we go, JavaScript as well. Okay, so we've got quite a nested set of arrays. And this is where I was hoping we'd get to, because I had an inkling that this was the case. Because there's this thing, there's this function in, let's just use this for a change. Make that a little bit bigger. Chrome Developer Tools, awesome. If we have a let's say we've got an array a equals 1 2 3 a.map x plus times x. Let's just do that 149. Okay, fine. But we've also got, so that will just go over each of the elements of an array and produce something else. If we've got, however, well, actually, let's have a look at it. Flat map. Oh, flat map. The flat map method first, and this is the thing. We need to flatten these things out. This is the thing that I was hoping we'd get to be able to use, right? The flat map method first maps each element using a mapping function, then flattens the result into a new array. It's identical to a map followed by a flat of depth 1, but flat map is often quite useful as merging both into one method is slightly more efficient. Okay, so let's try this out. If we let's try out here again. We want to flatten this array, don't we? So is it just as simple as, let's see what that gives us. Oop, wrong. There we go. We flattened it out. Now, flat map, it said it did a flat map, said it did a depth of 1, which is exactly what we want, right? It's identical to a map followed by a flat of depth 1. But flat map is often quite useful as merging both into whatever. So this is the equivalent of like calling gen pairs one at a time and concatenating things together, right? So that's what we want. Oh, slightly disappointing. That was simpler than I thought. Yeah, I think that's good. So now what we want to do, I was like hoping to build up to a crescendo and say, right, flat map, because we've got so many problems, but actually it worked straight off the bat. Flat map. let's just do that again, just to explicitly, in fact, let's have both, right? Log.log data flat map, and then log.log just with map. Let's run that so we can see the difference. Right, so this is the result of flat map, and this is the result of not using flat map. So it's flattened it by 1. Look, you can see that this is just an array of arrays, and this is an array of arrays of arrays. So we've flattened it by 1 depth. And that's what we want. That's actually what we want. So now all we need to do is to say target dot, let's just get rid of that for a second. What do we want to do? We want to write stuff to the target, don't we? Let's just bring that back like that. Here's our target. Well, first of all, I guess we need to target dot clear. Yeah. Oops. Clear. And then we don't want the testing anymore. And then we want target.clear. Let's just have a single line, one function per line. Target dot. In order to write stuff, you first of all have to define a range and then say set values. That's the standard way of doing it. Get range. Starting at 1, 1, which is that's 1, 1. How big do you want to write it? Well, basically, we need to do the thing that we data const pairs. Const episodes topics equals data dot flat map gen pairs. Right, that's what we want to do. So now we can say episodes. So how? I'll do that here. Get range, and here it shows us. Let's just do that a little minute like that. The starting row, the starting column. How many rows? How many columns? So get range starting at 1, 1 because we've cleared the sheet. Episodes. How many rows? So episodes topics dot length, because that's the outer array. It's an array of arrays, so array of rows. And how wide, how many columns, is basically how many entries there are in the individual arrays. So episodes topics, the first one dot length. What's the length of the first inner array? Get range dot set values. Set values, that's it. Set values, episodes topics. That should be it, shouldn't it? A little bit. There we go, like that. Save that. Is that all we need? Let's run that. Episodes topic. Episodes topics is not defined. Episodes topics is not defined. What have I done wrong here? Episodes topics. Line 7. Line 17. Episodes topics dot length. Yes, it is defined. Episodes topics. Episodes. Cheers, Pierre. Thanks for joining. Oh my goodness, what time is it? Almost there. Are we going to get this wrong? Right, if I spell it right. Episodes topics. Run that. There we go. Goodness me. That was a nice surprise. Typo. Thanks, Tim. Yes, typo. Episodes. So there we go. We've got 0 JavaScript, 1 is cloud platform, 1 is camp, 1 is TF, 1 is tooling, 2 is cool. Okay, so now if we swap these around, as in swap these sheets thing here, that was the short one. So let's get rid of that. Delete. And rename this one. I mean, I suppose we could call this source, right? Let's change that now. and call it source anyway. And now if we go to episodes topics, let's run it. I think we've done it. Okay, it's just after 9 o'clock. My goodness me, that was not deliberately, you know, premeditated. You know, I wanted to look at flat map, but yeah, finished on time. We've got now the input for our conjunction table, episodes topics, so that should make things a lot easier. Cool. Thanks, John, for coming. Thanks, everybody. That's the end of the episode. I've got a long weekend ahead of me, which I'm looking forward to, so have a great weekend. Enjoy, stay safe, and I'll see you on the other side. Bye for now.